Hey guys, it's Luke, and today we're going to be talking about hair and how we can describe different hair colors. It's actually not quite as simple as you might think, but before we get started, make sure you subscribe and also check out my courses, my full courses, in the links in the description. Okay, let's get started. In this video, we're going to be talking about hair, especially hair color. And one of the reasons we're going to be talking about hair color is that it's not that simple. And there's some things you need to know in order to talk about hair color naturally. You may need to talk about the color of your hair when you're describing yourself or others, right? It's a common thing you need to talk about. One of the things I hear often is people mixing up real hair colors or natural hair colors and dyed hair colors. So if someone says, "Oh, I love her yellow hair," actually that's probably not right. It's actually not the right way to say it. So we're going to talk about different colors of hair, and we're going to talk about natural hair colors and what we can call dyed hair, or hair that people make by themselves using, I'm not sure what people use to dye their hair, maybe blueberries, tomato sauce. I don't know. Okay, first, can we say yellow hair? We can only say yellow hair if someone has dyed their hair yellow. Yeah, that's right. So what should we say for people who are born with hair that looks yellow or even a little bit white? What if that's natural? Well, we can say they have blonde hair. They have blonde hair. That's how you describe it. So don't say yellow, say blonde. And we'll talk more about what happens when people get older later. But we can say blonde. Now, you might hear some people say, "Oh, she's a blonde." Is that right? Yeah, we can say someone is a blonde. But the interesting thing is, it's really only for girls. Usually we wouldn't say he's a blonde. Usually we'll say she's a blonde. And we'll say he has blonde hair. We can also say she has blonde hair. They have blonde hair. They are born blonde. But when we say a blonde, we're usually only talking about girls, ladies. There are a couple of simple variations we can use for blonde. We can say sometimes dirty blonde. That doesn't mean a blonde person who's covered in dirt. That means the hair color is not perfectly yellow or white. It's got some brown mixed in, so it's not absolutely blonde hair, so we can say dirty blonde. Sometimes you will hear people say golden blonde. So if you feel that it's even more yellow and you want to talk about how shiny someone's hair is, ooh, such golden blonde hair. maybe that movie with that girl who doesn't she have really long hair? She turns it into gold? Is that what happens? Anyway, I forget. But anyway, sometimes you might say golden blonde hair. But if it's not real, if it's dyed, we might say bleach blonde. So if someone dyes their hair, whether they're a blonde or not, and it comes out very white, we can say bleach blonde. So if someone has really white hair and it's because they dyed their hair, we often say bleach blonde, bleach blonde. You have bleach blonde hair, and I like it. It's cool. Or, ugh, bleach blonde. Not a good look for you. Not a good look. Now, a lot of people have black hair. Are there any variations with color when it comes to black? Black is black, right? Well, sometimes people say jet black hair, but generally no. For black hair, though, you could say different types. You might say straight black hair. You might say wavy black hair. You might say curly black hair. You might say kinky black hair. That is your hair type. So if someone has a big afro, you might say that person has kinky black hair. A lot of people, for example, in China have straight black hair. That is the hair color and the hair type, just to be clear. The hair type is straight. The hair color, black. Red hair is a little bit complicated because red hair is a hair color and it can be dyed red or natural. But another way to say that someone has natural red hair is to say they are a ginger or they have ginger hair. Ginger, yeah, ginger. Okay, can someone dye their hair red and call themselves a ginger? No. So being a ginger or having ginger hair often comes with very fair skin and often the same color of eyebrows or, for example, facial hair. So if someone describes themselves as a ginger, it means it's natural. They were born that way with that generally lighter skin and that lighter maybe facial hair. Well, they're not born. Someone is not born with facial hair. Can you imagine someone coming out with a beard? Mom, check it out, a ginger beard. Can you believe it? That would be weird. So just to be clear, if you dye your hair red, but you don't have red hair naturally, you cannot say that you are a ginger. You can say, I dyed my hair red. I have red hair. If you are a ginger, then you can still say you have red hair. Okay, so gingers can say they have red hair, or they can say, I have ginger hair. I am a ginger. Sometimes we use a redhead. A redhead. This one is not only for girls. Remember, we talked about someone who's a blonde. It's usually for a girl. If someone is a redhead, it's often for women, but sometimes you'll hear it for guys as well. I got made fun of in school a lot because I was a redhead. Now that doesn't mean that saying redhead is a bad thing, but often people who have ginger hair, natural redheads, tend to be teased more in America in school, although I'm not quite sure why. Now, I want to just be very clear for a second. When we talk about dyeing hair, dyed hair, I dyed my hair, you can say whatever color you want. You can say, I dyed my hair red, I dyed my hair blue, I dyed my hair green, I dyed my hair orange. My hair is dyed yellow. Did you dye your hair? Okay, so whatever color you want to change your hair to, if you do it with dye, then you can say after it that you have dyed yellow hair, dyed blonde hair, dyed green hair, whatever you want to say. Okay, just to be clear, it's pretty simple if your hair color is not natural. Now, what about my hair? First of all, this is natural hair. I haven't dyed it this way, but I would describe my hair color as dark brown. Dark brown. It's not black. It's not very light. It's not blonde. So it's brown, but then within brown you could say dark brown, you could say light brown. Now, we often will use the word brunette, but brunette is used usually for girls. So just like a blonde, we might say a brunette. But if we say a brunette, we're probably going to say she's a brunette. She's a brunette. That means she has brown hair. So if you hear the word brunette, you can say to yourself, okay, that just means brown. And then within brown, we can say light or dark. So I have wavy, dark brown hair. That's my hair color. That is my hair type. Hair type. Sometimes there's a kind of mix in the middle between red naturally and brown. Reddish brown. And you could say reddish brown hair. That's all right. But for this one, often we use the word auburn. Auburn. So you hear the word auburn if someone has brown hair that's a little bit reddish. And actually, I know it might not look like it in this video, but I kind of have auburn hair. And when I was little, my hair was kind of reddish brown. So I could say I had auburn hair when I was younger, but as I grow older, my hair gets darker over time. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's in the water. Maybe I drink too much coffee. Who knows? But when I was younger, I could say auburn. And sometimes you'll hear chestnut for people who have slightly lighter brown hair. Chestnut, chestnut. Sometimes. Now, sometimes it's kind of mixed and there might be two colors there. So someone might have auburn hair with chestnut highlights. So if you hear the word highlights, it just means there are some hairs here and there that are a different color, and that color is lighter. Brown hair with blonde highlights. As we get older, we lose our natural hair color and we say we go gray. If we're in the middle of that process, we say, I'm going gray, or I'm starting to go gray. Can we say someone who's older has white hair or silver hair? Yeah, sometimes people will say white hair if someone has completely gone gray. They might have a head of white hair or silver hair. That's okay. But generally, let's just use gray, a full head of gray hair, or I've gone completely gray. If it's just a little bit, maybe a little bit here, a little bit here, you might say streaks. So before we said highlights, maybe blonde highlights or chestnut highlights. Well, if it's gray and it's starting to happen and it's a few hairs here and there, we might say streaks of gray. I'm starting to get some streaks of gray. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you're not happy about it. I don't know, but you can say streaks of gray. Now we've talked a lot about people who have hair, but very quickly I should mention, what about for people who do not have hair? I don't want to leave you people out, you people with no hair. Well, if you're starting to lose your hair and you're a man, you could say, maybe it's getting thin here, you might say, it's starting to get thin. My hair is starting to get thin, right? Or I'm starting to go bald. Sometimes we'll say, I'm balding. I'm losing hair here. I'm losing hair here. I'm balding. Now, if this one here goes higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, then we can call this a receding hairline. Is my hairline receding? Am I okay, guys? I don't know. Am I okay? Do I have a receding hairline? I'm not sure. I haven't checked in a while. Anyway, we say balding or a receding hairline or going bald. And if someone has no hair here and has hair here, then we just say that that person is bald. But what if I choose to do it? What if I shave my head? Well, you could say that person has a bald head. That's okay, a bald head. But often we'll say that person shaves their head or shaved their head. I have a shaved head. It means I could grow my hair out if I want to, but I like the style of having no hair, so I shave my head bald. Maybe I think it looks cool. I like to look a little bit like an egg. That's my style, so I shave my head. I want to look like an egg. It's my style. All right, guys, well, those are pretty much all the words we need to talk about hair color and hair type. In the comments, I'd like to know, what is your hair color and what is your hair type? Or what hair color and hair type do you think looks coolest? What do you think is the most interesting or the most beautiful? All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.